What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing. Continue our lake breakdowns. Tonight, we're actually going back to Lake Kerr to that Palmer Point area. We talked about it last time. We kind of covered that northern section. Now we're going to switch back down and move our way back down towards the dam for the Google Earth side. Then we'll obviously follow that up with the offshore stuff with another video. But tonight, let's go ahead and jump in, finish out the Palmer Point area at Lake Kerr. Let's go. Welcome back to Lake Kerr on Google Earth. If you've missed any of the previous videos, we've actually covered the Eastland Creek area. That was this area right here, or what I'm calling the Eastland Creek area. It's very small, but we did cover it all. And we also talked about the offshore stuff in this area as well. So what we're going to do is kind of continue that same method, although we're going to make the areas much, much bigger as we start to cover them. So what we're going to do tonight is we're actually going to cover what I call the Palmer Point area. So I'm going to go ahead and select it here so you can see it. And in this area, that's what we're going to cover. Now, in the previous video, what we did is we started at the dam and then we worked our way up here, up the northern side, and we stopped right there. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to start here and we're going to work our way down all the way down to this Henderson Point campground. Then we're going to hop over and start to work our way back up towards the dam on the Google Earth side. So probably take us a couple more videos to cover the Google Earth side, and then we'll follow that up with the offshore hotspots. We're going to talk about those. We'll do those with the Navionics mobile app, talk about the contours and why we think those are good places to fish. So let me show you really quick where we're at with Lake Kerr. If you're out there on the website wondering why it's so scattered, I'm not done with it yet, but the demand was so high to get these waypoints out there for you. I put out the sections that I had completed so far. So I already told you about the Eastland Creek area. That's the small section right up in here. Have that one done, have it out on the website. You can go get it today, simplisticfishing.com. You can also go out and look at the Island Creek area. This is what I'm calling the Island Creek area. So you can get this area as well. Lots of stuff there. We'll cover that here soon. We'll go through that whole spot. Then we're going to talk about the Ivy Hill area is what I'm calling the Ivy Hill area. That's going to be more like midsection of the lake here. Lots of stuff to cover, lots of videos to go through. And then the Steel Creek area, what I'm calling Steel Creek. So basically, which is that Henderson Point area and south, that's going to be the Steel Creek area that's available. We're talking about the Palmer Point area. We also have the Bear Creek spot, which is over here. I'm not completed with it yet. In fact, if you look here and you see these highlighted parking spots, that's me working my way down, trying to complete the lake breakdown. I still need to do Rudd Creek up here as well. And then anything up here on the north western side, I still need to finish that as well. So that'll be another section. So we're making progress, but tonight we're talking about Palmer Point area. So let's look and see what we have here really quick. I'm going to show you here on the left-hand side how we have this thing broke down. So first off, we're very lucky because on this one, we actually have some attractors. So I went out, did some searching through just through Google and stuff to see if I could find any fish attractors on the North Carolina or the Virginia side. And I was actually able to find a site that had them out there. I think I showed that to you guys last time, but here are the waypoints for those fish attractors. So we have them all here. We have them plugged in. They'll be part of the waypoints when you get them. There's several of them there. We also have channels and ditches. Those are going to be these little tracks that you see here. So when we bring the water down, if we're lucky enough, we can actually see exactly where that channel is or where that ditch is. And when we can do that, we put a track there that actually allows you to position your boat correctly to be able to fish those areas. There's lots of cover that we found on this lake, whether it be hard spots, brush, stuff I found that I'm just going to put check out there. And that just basically means you're going to have to check it. Something's there. I can't tell what it is through the Google Earth imaging. But I definitely know it's something that fish should likely be attracted to because they're attracted to anything that's different. Laydowns, we just got all kinds of good stuff. We'll continue the lake breakdown series, the video stuff, and we'll talk about all these. We also have offshore hotspots, and these things are really funky because they only come in if you have the date set to a certain time. So I'm going to double click this. It's going to be weird. You're not going to see it up here, but the timeline's moving back and forth, and it's actually putting us back to where the date when I actually imported in the offshore hotspots. So now if I pull this back, you're going to see, hopefully, and apparently you're not going to see, you're going to see, there we go. Now you're going to start seeing all the different offshore hotspots that we have in this area. Again, we'll talk about those later. We've got ramps. Ramps are a great pattern to run. Obviously, you don't want to run the busy ones because you don't want to get in people's way, but a lot of times you'll find personal boat ramps or you'll find neighborhood boat ramps. Those are great places to find fish. The bluegill like to spawn there. The bass like to hang out there. It's a hard structure. Just a great pattern to run, so definitely want to check those out. And then as well as safety, it's always nice to know where those ramps are. And last but not least, rock. So I've talked about it a lot on Lake Kerr. What I really like about this lake, I've never actually fished this lake, but what I like about it is going through this breakdown is that you do have a lot of rock, but your rock is in like limited spots. So it really allows you to kind of break the lake down not pretty quickly, obviously the giant lake, but allows you to break the lake down and really narrow in to certain areas where you know are going to be high percentage areas. And that's really what this is all about, is trying to find those locations and trying to make sure that you're fishing in the right spots. So let's go ahead and select all of this. I'm going to take the offshore off because, like I said, we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to take this off right here on this sidebar, and I'm going to start drawing the date back. I'm going to go up here. Let's just go over here to like right in here to where it says rock right here. Now you can see there's a little bit of rock right here, but let's draw this back and let's get it to where we can actually see. There we go. 2012 is what we're going to roll with because that is our best image. Let's go back one more just to make sure. Nope, 2012 is going to be it. So we're going to start with 2012. I think that's what we ended with last time. Let's go ahead and start this. And so again, if you missed it, we already covered this whole section. So just go out, look at the lake breakdown playlist, and we'll cover that. We're probably going to talk about these islands and stuff when we start talking offshore, but let's zoom into this one and see if there's anything there. You know, what is there, obviously, is that's a very hard surface. So you definitely an area that you want to go look around. Could be an area where some shell beds may collect as well. Not sure what this little tail is that it has on it, but definitely right in here. Very hard surface right in there. Real good looking place to look at. You may even have another one that's way out here as well that you can kind of see. Obviously, you got one there, more hard spots. And we talked about this in the last one. There's a lot of these areas where we're going to say there's hard spots. And really, it's where these ridges come out and the water's washed all the dirt away, basically. It's a very hard area. And those are really good places to try to find fish because they love to set up around stuff like that. So you'll see me say hard spot a lot throughout these breakdowns. Moving on down, we're going to talk about this right here. We got some debris that's out here. This looks like it could be a brush pile or something, but definitely man-made. Got some stuff up here too that you want to check. And again, if you're just paying attention on the Google Earth side, you can tell where your hard points are. I've marked the ones that looked really juicy, but I can't mark them all. But here's another one right here too, another hard point. That's going to be really hard to tell though when you're in the boat if it's a hard point or not, unless you're looking at your graphs. And if you're looking at your graphs, you'll be able to tell the difference. Just go out to a spot where it goes from sandy to rocky and check out your graphs and look at the 2D and notice the color difference when you move into those areas. And that'll trigger you to know that, hey, you're fishing around hard stuff or you're just fishing around sandy stuff. Also over here, you've got some more rock. So you want to check those out. It's a pretty cool looking little island here. You know what I like when I'm fishing around islands is I like to fish around those little areas right in here, which is what we call the saddles. I love fishing around the saddles pretty much all times of year. I don't hardly ever mark them. Sometimes I'll mark saddle if it's not really obvious. This was a pretty obvious one, but fishing right around in here can be very productive at certain times of the year as well. So go check that out. Some more hard spots. You can see these hard spots that just parallel each other. Or not parallel, but they're right in line with each other. Right here, you've also got that hard spot that was right here. So if you drew that back to that point, you'd probably find a hard spot. You do right there as well. So some brush up here. Moving on out here, you've got some pretty good looking little islands. You may want to check these because this is where shell beds can collect, and those can be great areas to fish. I'm sure we're going to talk about it from an offshore standpoint. We're getting right down here on the border between North Carolina and Virginia. So I'm getting ready to switch over to the Virginia side. There's a little bit of rock right here. If you look in this area, there's just kind of sandy, but right here you have like this line of rock that's just right there. So actually, let's move that point to right there. That's exactly where the rock is. All right, so then we're going to move on up. Got some pockets in here, but didn't really see much. There is a little bit of rock again right here. This is what I was telling you about. You guys have like these limited rocky spots right here. That looks like a definitely pretty decent little pile that you can go check out. So I have that one marked. Moving up, got some laydowns, some more laydowns in here. Pretty cool looking pocket, but just nothing for me to mark for you guys. There was some laydowns that are way back here. Let me show you. I'm gonna have to change the date, I believe, because I can't see the laydowns now. Here we go, 2013. You can see the laydown that's out there now. So hopefully it's still there. I don't know if it is still there or not, but those laydowns are always good places to to go fish around, see if you can find crappie around them. The bass like to be around them, all kinds of good stuff. So might be something to go check out. Then we're going to move on up. We're going to get around this point right in here. I believe this should have a name. It doesn't have a name at all. You guys know what it is. So there we go, Henderson Point. It's the boat ramp for Henderson Point. But we get out there, we got a lot of good riprap that's around the point, some pretty decent ramps, some additional rock that's out here as well. You can see right here, it's another one of those hard spots. And if I zoom in, you'll see it. You can actually see the lines from it. So you know this is a harder area right in here off the edge of this point, which could be productive. And then I really like this, how this little arm comes out here. Something's definitely going on here. It looks like right in here, you may have a rock pile that's right here in this section. So not sure about whether or not that'll be good, but it looks like it could be pretty healthy. Then we're going to move on down. Got the boat ramp that's down there. Then we're going to switch over. We're going to move over to this side. So now we're in the Virginia area, and we're going to keep moving up and see how far we can get up there to the dam. We still got some time left. So let's move over here. Now remember, I'm going to cover this bottom area. It's called the Steel Creek area. So we'll cover that in a different video. So let me show you guys real quick. Here's the Steel Creek area. So it'll all eventually match up. But right now, we're just going to talk about this Palmer Point area. So I'm going to take this back off, take the sidebar off, and let's roll. So love this stuff right here. Love this rock stuff that's out here, Main Lake. And look at it, just looks juicy. All kinds of good looking stuff right in here. Got some more in here. And there could be even more out here. I just can't verify really from an imagery if that's really anything there. Is that Google Earth? Is that rock? But I know that this is going to be a really good point. And if we move that timeline up, 2015, that's what it looks like. 2016, you can still see parts of it. 2019, so it's a little bit exposed. 2020 is not exposed at all. 2020 here in November, it's definitely not exposed. So I don't know if you'll see it or not when you're out there, but that is definitely going to be a good spot to fish around. All that area right in there looks really good. Let's swing around this point. As you get off this point, you always want to look at these main lake points and just see if you've got that hard surface. A lot of these are going to have the hard surface. This one looks like it may have it as well. You get out here, you get these hard surfaces, and every once in a while off those hard surfaces, you get these collections of rock. So there's a little bit right there and right here. Probably should have marked that one for you guys, but it may be an offshore spot, which is why I didn't mark it. Let's move on down, see what else we can find. We've got some laydowns in here. Again, I got to move it up. You can see the two laydowns that are going on right in here. Move it on back to 2012. More laydowns, same type thing. You just got to go to a different year and you'll see those different laydowns that are there. Moving back to 2012. Now, this is the stuff I talked about earlier. I don't know what this stuff is, but this looks very interesting to fish around. So if you're over here in this area, fishing around this little point, let me pull back and show you where I'm at. Remember, we came across that point. We're right in here. It just says county line, not a lot going on, but Henderson Point's right there. So straight across from Henderson Point, swing around here and see what this stuff is right here off this point right here. All right, so we got more laydowns, lots of laydowns going on through that area. Some more in here, not a lot of rocky stuff that I could really find. There may be a little hard spot right there. Nothing too crazy like we saw on the other side, but those hard spots, again, you want to look at these points that come out. This one's interesting because it's like sandy on the backside and hard on this side. So this whole point right in here is going to be a good looking point to go take a look at. And then clearly you guys could probably already see it, but these two right here look magical. They just look like great points. There's even a little bitty one right there too. So you could spend time fishing this whole point right in here, switch over, fish this area. and then fish this area as well around those points. Then we're going to move down. We got more laydowns going on in this area. Got riprap. You can see it here over the side. It's always interesting areas to fish around. And then when you get back in here, you got more laydowns, but I don't know what this is. It looks like an old pond. Might have missed it on that first breakdown, but I don't know if you can get the boat up and over that. But if you can, this could be interesting back in here from a spawning standpoint. Very well protected. Could be clearer water, all that good stuff. So something that you'll want to go check out. Let's keep moving up and see what else we can find in these areas. We've got some more rock that's over here. A little bit additional rock going on there. Some more in this area. And then we move out and get more closer to this point. And then, of course, all these points that you guys have just look absolutely juicy. I think I want to fish every single one of them all the time. I get excited every time I see a point on this thing for sure. But we get out in here. We got some pretty decent rock going on. Some more good points. This point looks great. Really good point to fish right here. Really like that. You know, if we're looking at these points and we want to say, okay, we got a lot of hard points. We got to start limiting which ones we want to fish. I'm saying this one here, these two right here are my favorite from the ones we've seen, you know, in this area. And obviously this one out here, I mean, this big main lake, juicy looking point has got to have fish on it. It just does. It has to. Some more rock right in here too. And then we're going to move on down. We just got more rock in here, more rock along, just real shallow along that bank line. But if we get right out in here, here's that riprap and rock we were talking about. I just wasn't zoomed in enough. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. You know, we got nothing going on in the bank line. Maybe a little bit of a hard spot here, but it's, you know, it's flat and it's hard. Kind of the same thing here. But then you get over here and you got this pile that's right there. So I could see that pile being one of the better spots right there in that area. Let's keep moving down. We got laydowns going on through here, all kinds of good points, another boat ramp, some more hard spots that are going on here off these points. We'll talk about those when we get up there. Let's stay on the left side here and make sure I don't miss anything. Got a creek channel back here. Let's zoom in and see what we're talking about debris here. Yes, this guy's got a bunch of debris right behind his dock. Also, right in here, see these brown spots? Those could be potential brush piles. They like to put the brush piles out to where they can cast to them, which would make perfect sense for those brush piles to be there. They could also be stumps. They could also be nothing. But this guy clearly likes to have some debris around his dock. So I would look right around in here. That looks like an interesting dock. Plus it has a little creek channel coming out through it. That creek channel could swing down and underneath that dock. I would fish that area. That looks interesting. Laydowns back here, more creek channels, more laydowns. Even more laydowns that you see here, more. They continue to come up. Also off this point here, wanted you to check this because this, I couldn't tell what this was. I don't know if this is brush, if this is a rock pile. I'm thinking it's a personal brush pile because it doesn't look like it should fit there. But take a look at that one. Let's see if I pull this back and we go into this pocket. So you guys saw where I was. There's Henderson Campground. I went up here, went all the way back here into the back, right? That's where that guy's money dock was right in there. We came up, we talked about these laydowns that were right here. We talked about that hard spot and that ramp. So anyways, go take a look at that. That looks really good. I've already lost my train of thought on what I was trying to tell you guys, but take a look at that. Definitely go back into that cove. Look at that with that creek channel being there, the creek channel swing, all of that good stuff. It's definitely a good spot you want to look at. You got some laydowns up here, some hard spots. Then moving up here, more laydowns. I wanted you guys to check right in here. I don't know what this is, but if you look right in here, it looks like some kind of a pile or something. You know, all those times you can find that cover and stuff, that laydown, the miniature rock piles and stuff like that. Those are great places to pick up a few fish here and there. And sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll find a schooler on there. There's a little ditch back here. There's a couple more laydowns here that you see, but if we move back here, there's a little ditch that comes back here and it comes right underneath these two docks. So I would fish these two docks. If I didn't fish any other docks in that pocket, I'd fish those two docks for sure. And again, you guys can kind of see where I'm at. I'm back here in the back of this pocket. So I'm going to move on up. We see some more laydowns out here. We talked about checking those. We talked about that pocket. Over here, when I come around this point looks really good. You've got a laydown that's right there. And then you've got this rock line that comes out this way. You can see it on the imaging here, you can also see it right there. So if I pull back, show you guys where that's at. So if we come over here, here's this little neighborhood here. Just come across. It's going to be right there. Oops, sorry. Come across that neighborhood. It's going to be right there. That last little point before it goes into that last pocket. That looks like it's going to be a pretty good point to be fishing. Another hard spot back in there that you can take a look at. More laydowns, more hard spots. These two probably connect. You can see here it's a pretty hard looking area and it probably somehow connects over to here. So you got some kind of rocky ridge going on below the surface there too that you're going to want to look at. Rocks, laydowns out here as well. There's a little laydown there. And then here, this one looks interesting because there's not a lot of rocks in this area. But this is like just this little, it looks miniature. It's probably a lot bigger if you get there in person, but it looks like this little miniature rock pile that's been placed there. It definitely looks out of place for sure. More rock up in here. If I zoom up, some pretty decent little rock piles there. And then coming out here, some riprap. This is Kimball Point Site 67. So Kimball Point Campground. Finally found a place where I'm at. I'm out here off this big island that's out here. So we'll probably finish up somewhere in here. I'm not sure where, but we got to finish up soon. We're starting to hit our time. But some riprap in here. Some more riprap right along in there. That looks pretty good as well. I wanted you to check out this point too. Again, another one of those spots. I don't know if that's a giant brush pile or a rock pile or if it's absolutely nothing, but it's off this point. The point looks like it may be one of those hard points, but it almost looks like it has a lot of dirt and soot on it and stuff like that. So not sure if that's supposed to be there. You want to go look at that one. Hard spots here. These all look really good. I mean, look at these two really hard areas right in here. And then this point as well and that stuff. So those three right there off the inside of that island, that looks really good. This island's covered with those harder areas, the hard bottom. You can see it here, those ridges, really good rock piles right in there, more hard spots. All these points are just very, very hard areas that you'll want to go look at. So let's go ahead and stop there. We're going to stop at the Kimball Point boat ramp. When we start next time, we'll start there and we'll work our way back to the dam. I'm thinking we should be able to make it back as long as I don't talk about too much stuff. So I'm going to change the color of this one so next time when I come back, I'm not totally confused. And that is going to wrap us up for the Palmer Point section for our second video in this area, and I think our third video on Lake Kerr. So make sure you go out, hit that like button for me, please, and hit the subscribe button so you continue to see the lake breakdowns. We're going to end up covering this entire lake. It's going to take us a while, but I promise you we will get there. Also, make sure to go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have the waypoints that are available today out on the website. Go check it out. Until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy, guys.